Yesterday.
It was. Thank you.
And how was that?
Fucking great.
Awesome.
I'm 34.
Wow.
This is one of my favorite cities in the world.
Great.
I haven't been back in 8 years.
Awesome.
And I had one night to fit in everything I love here, and I did it.
And you did it.
I did it.
With Jason Mans?
Well, Jason Mans was my date last night. He paid for dinner for me. It was a proper date.
Wow.
He cleared it with his wife.
Okay, good,
yeah,
good.
Beforehand.
Yeah.
But it was a proper date.
Wow.
He was a gentleman, pure gentleman.
Wow, good for you. I remember when I was 34. All right, have fun, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Hey,
you.
guys.
Lounge swing.
You get 3 of us together. My goodness.
We've never done this before.
No.
Not on
No,
stage,
yeah.
at least.
My question is, imagine it's the zombie apocalypse, but you don't get a gun or a sword. So what is your makeshift weapon that you will be using?
Makeshift weapon.
That's good. I'm trying to think what because I was on a zombie show for 5 years. I'm trying to think, what was my weapon was a gun. But I don't get a gun or
No gun or
No
sword.
gun, no sword.
or a sword. Dude, I don't know. My legs, I'll be running all the time. You have to, I'm telling you right now from personal experience, you have to take a stand against zombies. You really do, because there are fast walkers and slow walkers.
I'm going to merge 2 shows together. I did a show called War of the Worlds many years ago, in which my weapon of choice was the thing that looked like an enormous dill pickle. And I did it, and CGI put this green flame that came out of the dill pickle. And also, as you know, Death eats, well, he likes dill pickle chips in Supernatural, so I think it's going to be a dill pickle.
That's a good answer.
What's the number?
Wait,
No,
I wanna play.
Yes, answer.
I want to play.
Also, I will just say this. When you started with your favorite weapon would be a dill, I did not think pickle was what was coming next. My hands got a little sweaty there. I was like, where are you going with this, brother? It's too early in the morning to talk about that.
I'm used to a clean panel, you know, being on my own. This is
I don't want to lie.
I work entirely blues, so, I mean, that would sort of fit into my panel.
Most of my panels are pretty horny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with just a bunch of mullet cocktails.
Oh, that's a good weapon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right in the nipple. Every zombie, right in the nipple.
Who's next?
Hi. My question is, out of everything that you guys have done, like, what's your favorite, like, behind-the-scenes story? It doesn't have to be supernatural. Just kind of like anything.
so your question is, out of everything we've ever done, what's our favorite sort of behind-the-scenes vibe?
Yeah, like
Story.
vibe or story or something funny that, you know, just something that you like that sticks in your mind about happening behind the scenes.
Well, honestly, so my favorite thing I've ever done, I did this TV show called Legit, where I played a guy who had advanced stage muscular dystrophy, and I was in a wheelchair and I could only move 2 of my fingers and my neck. And so every time anything happened on the set, I would have to be like dressed or fed or whatever. So the lead of the show is a comedian named Jim Jeffries, who's famous for saying a brutal word that starts with a C, but he's famous for saying that, right? Anyway, so like we got into these patterns of like when I would have to be dressed or undressed in a scene. Like during the reset, I'd be sitting there talking, and he would realize that he'd be putting my clothes back on me, and I was like, this is kind of the best job I've ever had. I don't have to do anything on the show except sort of sit there. But it had a lot of heart. The funniest thing that happened, though, was he Like you had to bathe me once, and you pulled me up out of the tub, and the way the camera was positioned, there was no way you couldn't see. Do you know what happens to testicles when you lift somebody up? Yeah. I wasn't aware of this. I was not made aware of this. I have a nudity rider that was completely violated. I wasn't aware of it until the show aired, and FX didn't blur them out. So, yes, you see my testicles.
They can show balls on FX?
Yeah. You can say the F word after 9 now. It used to be 10, and you can show
You
balls.
can show balls for breakfast?
No, yeah, balls for breakfast. No, but you can see my balls.
You didn't wear like the, usually when you do like a nude scene, they put an array of thongs and underwear in trailers.
This was, the set, there was only 3 actors on this show, and 2 of them were writers, the other one was me, and we rehearsed the whole day's work like a play. The licensing fee, to make that show cost $500,000 an episode. It was probably costing nothing. But it was awesome and creative, and it's the least I've ever gotten paid, and I would still be doing it today if I could. I loved it. But we didn't think about that kind of stuff. And nobody brought it to my attention. And you can see my balls on TV. So it's not my favorite thing that's ever happened, but I thought it was funny in retrospect.
I did a film where I allowed them, they could show my butt if they wanted to. I figured, I'm not getting any younger. Go ahead, show my butt.
Show it now.
And
before the avalanche comes.
Yeah, it's still perky, I think. Bouncing quarter off of it. So they had the ability to show my naked butt, which I was kind of excited about. I had a shower scene with this actress Claire Forlani, and they didn't show my butt, which made me go, what the hell? You had your shot, and they didn't.
What cheek? But nudity writers are like this. They can show the top left quadrant of the artist's buttocks no more than 2 inches from the side. They're really specific.
I was whole crack, baby.
Oh, you were?
Oh.
So there's no excuse for it.
No balls, though.
What a bummer.
What about It's too bad.
So mine, on the Atlantic Ocean in a show called Seawolf, producers always say, you got any problems? Can you ride a horse? Yeah. Can you go on the sea, not be sick? Yeah. You always say this stuff. And I said, yeah, to going on the sea and never being seasick, and never having a problem with it. And it was great for the first week or so of filming. And then we had the doldrums where it was still and foggy, you couldn't see the horizon. And I played the ship's cook. And I was beginning to feel a little queasy because you had no sense of really what was going on. That inner ear thing was happening. I was feeling a little weird. And they said, okay, well, it's fine. We're going to do today's scene up on the deck. You should be fine. We'll get some fresh air. You're going to be cutting up a fresh seal.
Oh, boy.
What?
It was actually a fresh seal that had been found and appropriately arranged in front of me. And as they started the camera rolling, I started to chop, looked up, ran over to the deck, and it was actually captured on film. But it's just a little part of me running across in the background. And I went green, and the real humility of that was that they had to send out a special boat to pick me up and take me to shore. So I was there, feeling very shamed. It's really bad.
They made you cut up a seal?
What's that?
Did you say you cut up a seal?
I didn't. Set deck did it. They're actually preserved. There's very strict rules about
How you cut
seals. We had to have a license from the Ministry of Fisheries that it was actually a seal that had been caught up in a net and had died naturally, and
Right.
props got hold of the seal and then they used it for the film. Yeah, but it's
brutal.
pretty bad. There you go.
Heat is gonna be on your ass, boy.
Has Jared and Jensen ever pulled any pranks on y'all?
Yeah, my go-to happened on my first episode. We were in the diner, and Jared at that time was eating a lot of meat and was very muscular and large. And I was all the way tucked into the diner seat, and he was sitting here, and he ripped ass. He may have tore his butt. It was awful. It smelled so bad. And I couldn't leave because I'm stuck in this booth. He looks at me and goes, I am Fornicus! You can taste it. Yeah, no, that was too far. It was what it was. That's my prank.
He didn't have to do anything with me, I did it myself. The first pizza scene, in the rehearsals, I was actually hungry, and there was a delicious pizza there. And I ate too much in the rehearsal, so that for the shooting, take 57, by the time that I got there, I was eating it, running away, spitting it in the bucket, and he was just sitting there. So he did. Anyway.
You have a rich history of running off camera.
That's true, yes. Yeah. There he is. Oh, now he's gone.
Sorry. My question is for Jake. So, we both had babies right around the same time, and I was wondering, what's your favorite part about being a dad?
Having a baby. I love my kids so much. Congratulations to you as well. I love going into his nursery after a nap because that smile, that first smile you get when you walk into the room, he's so happy because he knows he's going to get picked up, and then he has this like little sleepy cuddle, because he's slow to wake up. So I get to like hold him and cuddle him with this really sleepy cuddle. That's my favorite thing.
That is adorable.
DJ does the same thing in the morning too, which is that's why I was used to it. I pick him up.
He's not lying.
I make sure his balls are tucked in.
And that's what they call in comedy a callback. That was a good one, dude. Very good.
Thank you.
Please give it up for DJ Qualls, Jake Abel, and Julian Ritchie.
Bye guys, thank you. Come get it.
So let's bring out the devil himself, Mr. Mark Pellegrino! Go.
Ouch, that hurt. What's up, New Orleans?
New Orleans. Enjoy, Mark. New Orleans.
Thank you. I can't see anybody because there's bright spotlights in my eyes.
Hi. Are there any characters that Lucifer didn't get to interact with that you would have loved to see him interact with?
Maybe the Leviathans. And what's his name? Who was Curtis's character?
Metatron, yeah.
I think Bellatron needed a good beating. Yeah, the Leviathans. I think I would have made one of the Leviathans eat themselves in front of me. Maybe Dick Roman. I would have made him eat himself.
My question is, what is like your funniest moment on set?
My funniest moment? I don't have funny moments on the set.
Yeah, what is your worst moment?
My worst moment?
Yeah.
Worst moment? I feel like I've said this story a lot, and I sort of say it as, I guess, a funny moment, but it's also the worst moment. It's when I had to do that scene in Jared's fart cloud. So I guess that qualifies as like the worst moment and the funniest moment. If a fart cloud is funny, fart clouds aren't funny when you're in it. But I guess it's funny from the outside when, if you were to watch it. But that scene where I blow on the window and I make my sign there? I did that in a fart cloud.
So my question is, if you were a stripper, what would your stripper name be, and what song would you strip to?
I've actually thought about part of this. But I'll tell you why. In my 20s, I actually almost became a Chippendales dancer. Silly time in my life. I don't know what my stripper name would be. But I know the song that I would dance to. I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett.
Solid choice.
What do you think a good stripper name would be? Rock Candy. No.
I like that one.
No? Yeah, you do?
I like that. I also think your song should be Big Balls, because you sing that.
But it's not sexy.
It's funny.
I Love Rock and Roll is sexy.
Yeah.
What's a good stripper name for a guy? Let me hear one. Anyone? Lucifer.
And then you can just pick up the whole thing and take it to the
Giant elbow. So, what does that mean? Does it, huh?
Okay, all right, thank you.
What? The last DJ? Ask DJ. So DJ said something about a giant elbow? Being his stripper name, Giant Elbow? What the fuck is so funny? Now I'm really gonna have to ask him. Giant Elbow. It's a euphemism? For a penis? I did have to be there, because the visual isn't quite... Hi, what's up, man?
Hi, puppy.
He says hi.
Hello.
He says hello.
What's his name?
Moose.
Moose. Hi, Moose.
Hello.
Moose. Moose.
I do speak dog, you know.
I hear it. I hear it from everywhere.
Do you know I speak dog?
Yes, I've seen you very, very affectionate with dogs.
No, but I mean I do speak dog.
Yeah.
They do have a language. Do you want to hear me say a few words of those?
Absolutely.
I just sang a little Christmas song to him. And he knew exactly what you saw. You know what I'm talking about, Moose. He's so cute.
I love the scene when, Sammy's really anxious about you being inside his head, and you say the phrase, "Good morning, Vietnam."
Yeah.
And this is not a question, but I just wanted to ask if you could say that right now.
Just to make sure everybody's awake in the audience. Good morning, Vietnam! They're awake. Now, some people have that as an alarm on their clock. Is this true?
Yes.
How startling. Isn't that hard? Isn't that bad for your heart? I want the alarm that sort of eases into waking me up and then sort of gently taps me and says, wake up now, wake up now.
Please give it up one more time for Mark Pellegrino. Thank you, guys.
I'll boo him on that one, I'm not gonna lie. I think I ruined everything.
Been doing that jump for 15 years.
He'll catch up with you, Robbie.
Certainly will. I'm 50. All right, let's do this the right way. New Orleans. So please say hello to Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki.
How's everybody doing today?
Well, today, I guess.
It is good to almost see your faces.
I see the backs.
Lots of beautiful silhouettes. It's all right.
Hey, that's me.
Found him. Right here. Here's your guy.
Is there a way to slightly dim the lights?
No. Feels good.
I hear it's like a
spotlights.
It's like driving on a moonless night, and then you turn your headlights on, and there are a bunch of animal eyeballs looking at you. Like, I know there are people out there, but I don't know.
Where are you driving?
I don't know. The woods. I was in the woods, man. I was in the woods. I don't know what I was doing. I was lost.
Wait, did you say you're driving in the woods and then you turn your lights on?
Yes.
On a moonless night, which means there's no light coming from anywhere.
Because the lights scare you. You see things.
Then why do you want to turn them up?
To see the eyeballs.
This is going wonderful. We should probably get to some questions before we continue to talk.
Yeah, thank y'all for coming out here. I know it's still...
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
I'm Mandi from New York.
What's the name?
Mandi.
Mandi from New York?
Yep.
Hi.
Hi. So I actually found Radio Company before I started watching Supernatural. I actually have not finished the series yet. So I was going
How far along are you?
15.5.
Oh, well, that's pretty good.
Almost.
That's just going to be like third season.
Third season.
I'm halfway through the pilot.
I got
You're gonna get jumped.
I got the bugs and stopped. I was going to ask you what your favorite Radio Company song to perform is, but my husband's like, you're at the Supernatural convention, so you should just ask them to rate each other on an asshole scale for filming and your relationships. I don't know. I just realized how it's
Rate each other.
Yes.
It does change the question. It does change the answer.
Largely, yes.
Largely, what is that supposed to mean? Okay.
It's a scale. Right?
It is. I'm gonna go ahead and answer the rate question, just to try and
Wise choice.
steer the ship. So we're rating each other. Okay.
It's still unclear as to what kind of scale we're talking about. What was
asshole scale.
Oh, what?
I'm gonna answer what I think the question was. Well, let me know if I'm wrong. I will say, having known this guy for a long, long time and seen him in all sorts of situations, Jensen's not an asshole. So.
It's like 15% of the crowd was happy with that answer. Everybody else is like, I don't know.
Let's be
Agree to disagree, Padalecki. I've met the guy.
Well, I think, in fairness, it wasn't 15%, it was like 3% of the crowd. The other 97%.
The other 97% really get me.
He's very passionate about what he does. And it's funny because going back to March 1st, 2005, and go back to pilot and welcoming a new viewer to the family, a lot, we showed up and I was 22 and you were 25, turned 26. And so we were like these 20-something actors on this TV show, and we were the leads, and they were very excited about it, the studio and the network. And so a lot of people who were around us would kind of treat us like, oh, these are probably some 20-something-year-old Texan actors who think they're the hot stuff and this and that. And then gradually, I think they realized that we are just very passionate about the characters and the story. And so there are certainly times where, if we're rating each other, where he's had to put his foot down, but everybody around knows he's doing it to protect the story, not to protect himself. You know, he's doing it to protect Dean Winchester, not Jensen Ackles. It was never like, hey, I think this would be cool if this is where I do a somersault. It was like, no. And there were times where he had to put his foot down. They're like, no, listen, I know Dean, I've been for several years, and Dean doesn't do this. I can do that, which is similar enough to progress the storyline, but so it was never about being, I mean, if you want to talk assholes, I can list people off the crew and cast.
Please do.
They already know. They've met them. But yeah, he an asshole, he is not.
I think it's safe to say that you don't get a working relationship and a personal relationship the way that he and I have had for the past 16 years if one of us was said asshole.
Well, that definitely comes in.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy from New York.
What do you think would win an argument between you and your characters?
An argument over what?
Just a random, stupid argument about anything.
I think Sam would beat me in an argument.
I think I would beat Dean in an argument. Because Dean would give up and just want to fight me. And I feel like Jensen would probably try to be more logical about the situation. Be like, hey, God, let's break this down, okay? And he'd be like, what? Break what down? I'm gonna break your face. So that's that.
And Jensen would be like, listen, Dean, is that the name, Dean? You've killed dudes? I have not. Like, I'm not interested in being another
Be like,
dude.
Dean, it's Dean, right? Yeah, your fly's undone.
Thank you.
It's like meeting those guys with cauliflower ears. You're like, nope, I'm good. Cool.
So how has the transition been from Supernatural to Walker? And have you pulled any pranks on anyone on set yet?
The transition started during the pandemic hiatus. So I had a long time to transition. Honest to God, it's been weird because, you know, season 1 of Supernatural all the way to season 15, episode 18 of Supernatural, you see people's faces. And so you're hanging out with them, you're seeing them at craft services, you're, you know, having a beer on the weekends. Whereas with Walker, because of the protocols that we have to go through for COVID restrictions and regulations, everybody's masked, you have to social distance, and so you can't automatically get to know somebody. Like, I'll see somebody take their mask off 20 feet away to have a drink of water, and I'm like, oh, that's what they look like? It's so strange.
Isn't it true that your brain fills in the mystery?
Yeah.
So that, if you only see somebody with a mask, it's like your brain just automatically fills in what the rest is. Like, I had that on the boys, on Russ, like, somebody put their mask down and take a bite, I'd be like, oh God, that's not, I was way off. Wow! Put that back on, my God! Yeah, oh, look at that, that's a pleasant surprise. Yeah. I had you with a full-on horse face, that's... Okay.
So I don't know if there are any vampires on the Walker set, because I haven't been able to see all their teeth. But I haven't been able to prank yet, again, because you're not supposed to leave stuff in people's trailers that's touching your hands and not there. So it'll get around.
Let me ask you this. Hasn't it been kind of wonderful to... We've got 15 years of material that we've gotten sick of together.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
We have a whole new audience. How much stuff have you, regurgitated?
Oh my God, too much. Except every now and again, there'll be something like, I'll be on set and I'll be like, I promise I'll never die. And look around for somebody to laugh, and I'm like, oh, they weren't part of that discussion. So it's been a double-edged sword for me, because I'll do some Dumb and Dumber quote, and people will be like, what's he talking about? What's he doing? I'm like,
I'm trying to think of what's something that somebody says that we immediately make a comment and go, so many things. And now I'll hear somebody say that triggers that reaction. I'll be like,
Jensen, do you smell toast?
No, I just, I'm good.
Yeah, we're having a great time. We're making the most of it, and this too shall pass. So just enjoy. Back to the prior question about the last scene, just making the most, focus on the positive. Yeah, there's a lot of positive. So, yeah. Thanks so much.
I can't wait to see, what the crew thinks when he and I get together. Like in front of a whole new crew, they're gonna be like, these guys have their own language.
We've already prepared for at least 60% of the crew to leave and be like, I didn't know this is what this shit was about. I gotta get out of here. So yeah, we'll have a good time. Thanks so much.
You two gentlemen and the whole Supernatural cast are so gifted and so talented in so many ways. But is there something that you wish you were good at and you're just not?
Everything? God, I wish I spoke more languages. I do. I mean, I barely speak English goodly. So I've always, when I have friends that are bilingual or multilingual and will be in a foreign country, and they just bust into, whether it's Italian or French or Spanish, and they're fluent and they're communicative, I'm like, man, that would be cool to be able to talk to somebody in their language so they're not forced to try and figure out a way to communicate with you in your language. And you'll find yourself, you know, you'll be in Italy or something, to go back to our Italian thing, and somebody Italian is speaking to you in English, and they get one word slightly wrong. They say like, "Oh, was dinner goodly for you?" And you're like, "Goodly." That's not, I'm like, I don't speak Italian at all, and they're communicating. I'm like, "Goodly." They said goodly. Like, oh shit, they speak English better, far better than I speak Italian. But no, I guess I wish I was better at I love to travel. You know, I think we all enjoy traveling when possible. So I wish I could kind of communicate more readily with the people I'm around.
I'll teach you Spanish. Well, hola.
Muy bien, gracias. No entiendo, lo siento.
I feel like I'm like surface decent at a lot of things, and I wish that I was, you know, like guitar. Like I can play a few things on the guitar, but I'm nowhere near the caliber that Billy is, and I feel like I wish I could just really get good at, you know, one or two, like playing an instrument, or like Jared said, like language, or you know, knew how to fly a plane, something. Like, not that I know how to fly a plane a little bit. I mean, I do, because I've played video games, and I feel like if we're going down, I can at least land it. I think so.
I think that's the important part.
I think so. I mean, right? I can land it. I can, sure. Flaps.
Nah, I don't know if the flaps do this.
This thing. Sticks. The flaps. There's like a trim wheel thing. There's flaps. We still talking about a plane, Jensen? I don't know. I just think you guys would be safe if I had to be there. I got you. I got you.
I'll let you land my plane.
No, never mind. I'm gonna stick with the guitar. Thanks.
Thank you.
Gosh. Just derails so quickly.
Hi, my name's Mary. I'm from Michigan. I was going to ask if it was difficult for you to come to these conventions and still have the Supernatural show fresh in mind with your new projects, but just watching you guys up here is so cute. Like, that's clearly not an issue.
You mean manly, treacherous. You mean rugged and roguish, I think.
It's just so cute watching you guys right here. It's so cute.
You can pick a different adjective.
My question now is, if you could pick a season was your favorite season that you guys did? And I guess why?
I'm going to say two things. One is the truth, what I've answered before. Season 4 was pretty special for me, for many reasons. But I will go another season. I mean, how do you pick?
Yeah.
But I think another season I had a lot of fun, and even though it was it seemed daunting, was season 6. That was Soulless, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. I remember going. It's because Christy did the first 5 seasons, and then Sarah took over. And I remember I was in LA for some reason, and I went to the writer's office and hung out with Sarah, took her a bottle of wine, champagne or something, to say like, congratulations, we're on the show, and this and that, and what's the show about? And she was like, so get this, you do come back from hell, but you're soulless. I was like, what? I don't know I don't even know how to start preparing for that. So I spent a hiatus preparing, and then I had a really damn good time doing it, and so I'll go with 6 for today.
I kind of lost count after about 4. So from like 5 to 15 is like all kind of one big season. So that season. 5 to 15.
It was a good season.
It's a good season.
One of those good old 200 episode seasons.
No, I think that one really, the arc, from 5 to 15, I think really spoke to me. It was a long one, but we got there.
What was your favorite?
I think like my first favorite, the 1 through 4 were my favorite. Not that they weren't all good, but I just loved that you guys went out and you did, like each episode was a little different one. That was my favorite.
I literally picked the complete opposite. There were 2 options. There was 1 through 4, and I picked 5 through 15. And then she was like, cute. Again, you're being cute.
I like that.
But you're wrong. It's 1 through 4. Which, well played.
Bravo.
Well played.
Thank you so much.
So out of all the bad, awful decisions and ideas that Dean made throughout the...
I like where you're going.
I mean, you too, but...
Whoa. Stay on target. Stay on target.
Okay, all
I
right.
mean, you too.
Getting out of this, so... Jensen, which one out of anyone would you say would be the most frustrating? When I say frustrating, like sitting there watching it yourself and fussing and cursing and yelling at the TV, like pretty much all of it. Kind of moments.
I feel like she spent some time fussing and cursing and yelling at Dean Winchester.
It feels like this is coming from a place that we might need to unpack.
Yeah, so you, Jensen, sitting there watching Dean do something just obviously wrong. Which one would be the worst?
Can I just say favorite question ever? Can I say it?
I love the fact that she's like, oh, he didn't mean to do that. Oh no, he's got to be kicking himself right now. Has he seen this? Has he seen this? Has he seen this? Because he can't be happy with the way this performance. He made this choice, and he's got to live with this now. Oh, poor Jensen. I feel bad, but hey, you too. Kind of lucky. Your hands aren't clean. Oh my gosh. I love that she just assumes that I watch the TV and go, poor choice. Gosh! Why? Never make that face again. Dean, you idiot! Oh, Dean, I could just throttle you right now. Luckily, I don't do that very often. Stop. I don't believe you.
We all do that.
No, I will say,
As if you were someone else, not Jensen watching. watching you. Pick one of those. Can you think of one?
I know, man. I gotta really put it on the spot here. Yes.
First one come to mind.
There are definitely moments where I'm watching, where I'm like, ooh, seriously, don't make that face again. That is not helpful. That does not tell the story, and that is damaging to your career. And I shouldn't have eaten those tacos. Really, it's.
Okay, I'll take that answer.
Okay.
Thank you for that. That was amazing.
Here's the problem. Somebody's gonna send me a video of that what just happened, and I'm gonna look at it and go, "Come on, Jensen! Head in the game, pal!"
Hi there. Beat that.
Jensen, you played both Red Hood and Batman in the DC animated universe. Which one did you enjoy being more? And Jared, if you could be someone in the DC animated universe, who would you want to be?
Good question. I mean, look, Red Hood was really cool, and that kind of opened the door for Batman. But I think definitely a little boy dream of mine was to actually get paid to say, "I'm Batman."
In fairness, you already had been played to say, "I'm Batman."
But I wasn't Batman.
So.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, you're Batman.
But you thought you were.
But I wanted to be.
That was happening.
And so I think I was literally checking a box both for Jensen and Dean Winchester. And I've gotten to do it a couple of times, and I just signed on to do another one. So.
I think it's as much fun as I've had doing whatever sort of voiceover VR type stuff that I have done in the past. I think I'll leave it to the pros. You know, I've met a few really talented actors and actresses who are in the voiceover world, and it's one of those things where, like, yeah, I'd love to. You know, I grew up playing basketball. I'd love to try and play in the NBA. Then you play in the NBA, and you're like, I'm not going to play in the NBA. It's very different. It's very different. You know, I've done 400-something episodes of television in front of the camera, and then doing stuff like with the supernatural anime or whatever behind the camera. You're like, oh, this is totally different. And so I'll leave that to the pros, and I'll just watch it. Thanks so much.
What is your guys' favorite improv moment on the show?
Favorite improv moment on the show? There were many.
Eye of the Tiger was pretty epic. Just a total accident that is now like a great meme, GIF. I still am not certain.
GIF is peanut butter, bro.
Jiffy is peanut butter. GIF. What does it mean? What's the same word? Graphic. Okay, fine. GIF.
What?
Graphic interface.
Yeah, graphic internal fart. That's
accurate as well. I probably was Eye of the Tiger, but I also remember one time, I forget what the episode was called, but I think Sam was maybe the Meg demon, and finally the demon gets exorcised, and Dean leans, we're in Bobby's house, and Dean leans over and punches Sam, and Sam is clueless as to why Dean just punched him. That wasn't scripted, that was just something that he and I were like, this would be a funny, like, out, you know, we call it the button. Like, we were saying, like, hey, we're shooting the scene, but I don't really have a button. That means, like, hey, we need something, a look, a line, a reaction, that we can cut and go to commercial, because otherwise, sometimes scenes don't really end definitively. And so that became the button, and I just enjoyed watching it. That was one. Writing, those and changing channels, those little battery-powered Vespa scooters were ours. We're like, hey, can we ride these around? They're like, fine, do it. Like, we're like, they're gonna roll camera, let's do it. And so we went to our trailers and got our little Vespa scooters and rode those around. So there's so many impromptu moments. It's difficult to pick out one, but I would certainly go Eye of the Tiger for my number one.
This isn't a big moment or anything, but just because of what it didn't set off. And I forget again what episode it was. Very, very beginning. It might have been Dead in the Water. It was when the little cocktail sausages, and Dean reaches up and grabs and just starts eating. Those were not to be eaten. That wasn't in the scene. I just thought that was something that this character would do. Is there's food put out. We don't want to be rude. We should probably eat this stuff. And I guess then the writers saw that. They were like, he's going to eat all the time. And then I did.
That cocktail sausage scene also was the very beginning of the graphic internal fart.
Which you can see if you look closely. You just see Jared go like this. Right.
That's why Sam was always thinking. I don't know.
Comes to this. Thank you. Thank you. Hey there.
Sam and Dean's relationship with their father was complicated at best, and y'all later had Bobby step in and try to fill the role. So if Sam and Dean could only save one between Bobby and their dad, who would they pick in the final?
I would say, as it stands now, I would say Bobby. You know, being parents ourselves, both having 3 children, and there's a point where you kind of realize that one of these days, it's not my job to be around forever. It's my job to make sure that they can handle themselves when I'm gone. Whereas you still, hopefully, are lucky enough to have somebody in your life who's got your back no matter what, as a father figure. I feel like it's beautifully tragic that John is gone, but that's what forced Sam and Dean to grow their own wings and learn to fly, because if Dad was there, they'd still defer to Dad. But since Dad is not, they have to go off on their own. And Bobby could be there as a friend, as a father figure, as an uncle, but wouldn't have that kind of dynamic of also being my father.
I think Dean would want his dad, but I don't think that would be the right choice. I think that Dean, you look at those earlier seasons, and he had this real need for his father. He really, really missed him and longed to have his dad back in his life, and that was something that I think really hit him hard and carried with him. And he kind of had to step up to the plate and just move on and get it done and become the man that he ended up becoming, which I think benefited him. And having Bobby be what he was to Dean, I think was better for his growth as a character. So as a fan of the show and the character, I think that Bobby would be the right choice, but I think from a character's perspective, Dean would always choose his father because he didn't get to finish that ride with him. And I think he always desired to finish that ride, that journey with his dad.
Thank you.
It's
Jamie, go Mississippi.
Jared, how do you spell Mississippi?
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-B-I. What do you do? M-I-double-S-S.
M-I, quick letter I, quick letter I.
Dang, I got it wrong.
See?
When did you join the Supernatural family?
When I was in 8th grade, so right when it started.
Wow. Thanks, Jamie. See you later. Don't cry. Welcome. You can kind of see what we were saying, but we got a lot of family members out there with you. So what is your question?
So, are y'all all hat no cowboy, or do y'all actually know how to ride a horse?
All hat, no cowboy.
I like that.
Take that 8th grade.
I can indeed ride a horse. And this year I learned, or before season 1, I learned to rope from horseback, which is...
All right, show off.
This guy also...
Braggadocious over here. Yeah, I actually joined the rodeo so early.
I can wrestle to the ground on my bare hands.
Yeah, that's right.
Barrel race.
Not only can I ride, I can wrestle horses with my bare hands. Tie them up.
Why did you push it down? Benedict tackled the horse and went, stay down!
That's how I do it.
You had to get out there and
I got there quite a bit during...
kick the dust off those boots.
Yeah, Genevieve's a very, very good horseback rider. Grew up doing it in a TV show about a horseback rider. We had a horse. Yeah. And we had a horse in LA for several years, but she was much better than I was. And certainly before my walker training, Jensen was better than I was. I've done a lot of training since then, a lot of horseback riding, but I can ride. I just haven't done a whole lot.
I used to ride a lot more than I do now. Back in there was a show called Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, I'm listening.
And this would have been before you were born. But when I was doing that show, I used to live right next to the Equestrian Center in Los Angeles, and my off days, which I had a lot of them, maybe a couple days a week, I would always go over there and help the wranglers over there exercise their horses. So I rode quite a bit then, but hadn't in a long time. And then I just went and did this Western in Santa Fe, and I get up on a horse and I'm like, oh, it's like riding a bike. And I took off on this horse and I was like, no, it's not like riding a bike. I need help, and everything hurts. But by like week 2 of filming, I literally would get on my horse in the morning and I just wouldn't get off. Like they would, in between setups, rehearsing other scenes, they're like, just, you can get off. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I gotta hang here with Spanky. No joke, that was his name. So I got pretty good pretty quick over the past month, and I told Jared, I was like, listen, if I'm gonna come direct Walker, I will be doing it from horseback.
He legitimately said that. And I was like, okay, we're fine.
I'm gonna need all the monitors to raise up.
Yeah. And you barrel race, you're saying? Yes. Very cool. Jamie from Mississippi.
Thank you for your last question.
Ladies and gentlemen, they're the reason we're here. Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki.
No
I just wanted to say good night.
Like I wanted to say, just good night. Just to close it out, just good night. Love you guys.
You know, it reminds me of a story. A few years ago, I came to New Orleans and had the time of my life, and I just hope you guys did this weekend, if you know what I'm saying, right? Okay. We'll see you later. Good night.
Yeah, a few years before that, I also had a great time. It's good, just love you guys. Peace out.
You know, another time I was here and I just had one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. And I think it really, it's not just the city, it's not just the place and the setting, it's the people, it's all of you that really make this town what it is. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of me heart.
All right, go home. I can't beat that. Okay.